what's going on, everybody? This is Clifton Smith, and you're listening to Virtuous Talks. Hopefully, you're listening to this after the first episode because spoilers inbound. So if you have not seen the first episode yet, please go back and listen to it. But before we get into all that, I am joined today by the most phenomenal actor on the whole project, alongside his buddy, you know what I'm saying, Mr. William Ware, a.k.a. Andro. Will, welcome to the show. How are you, sir?
Hey, I'm doing great. Thanks, Cliff, man. Like, you don't have to do it like that, man. I'm not the best.
What? Listen, guys, he is being way too modest. You need, if you haven't listened to that first episode, like, this is the guy you need to watch out for, because he is pretty much your reasoning voice throughout this entire project, because that's how awesome he is. He will say things you're thinking in your head, like, you know what? I'm with him. Why is this happening? It's just great, man. Like, I gotta say personally, going through and editing this stuff for hours on end and putting hours into it, this was the greatest thing. It was listening to him play his character and react. And I'm so happy, brother, that you came on the show today, because I can ask you some cool questions about some behind the scenes stuff. But before I get into questions and everything, Will, please tell the people a little bit about yourself.
A little bit about me. Like,
yes,
there's not a whole lot. There really ain't a whole lot to tell. I'm that goofy guy that, you know, everybody loves to hate. That's me.
Whatever. Whatever.
Well, you know. So yeah, a little bit about me. I'm actually spent a lot of my time growing up in Alabama. Bounced around, but the majority of the time was here. Went to high school here, went to college at UAB, worked at GameStop where I met my boy Cliff.
Yeah.
Shout out.
The hell place. Go ahead.
It really was. It was so awful. Oh, man. But, you know, we're not going to talk about that.
Right. Dark times.
You know, joined military, came on back, did the college thing, got out into the workforce, and then eventually, you know, traveled around for a bit and found my way, you know, back here in Sweet Home, Alabama, and just trying to make some things happen. And but yeah, that's really about it.
That's what's up. Well, listen, we're going to jump into it. My first question actually revolves around that. How did you first get involved with the project? Could you tell the people about that?
Yes. Okay. So, well, I mean, it's you. I was about to say something, my buddy. Yeah, Cliff, you are the buddy, Cliff.
Yeah. It's okay. That's all right. Continue. Good friend of the show.
Back on track. So, you know, you were working on a lot of different things at the time, I believe. You're working on the game, which you've been working on for a while.
Right.
Wrote excellent story for that.
Thank you.
Which I've gotten to see some of that, and beautiful art for that. And then you mentioned, of course, this project and Virtuous Armaments, and you know, you like, hey, you know, how would you feel about doing this? Like, and you know, and honestly, initially, I wasn't 100% sure. I really wasn't. But then, like, you sent me that first 2 pages. Which is the introduction to the anime. I almost said the anime.
Hey man, speaking into existence, baby, let's do it. I would love it.
Right, but it feels like an anime. It really
does. It does.
But no, into the story, and so I'm sitting here and I'm reading the dialogue between Andro and Kato, and I'm like, man, like, I want to know what happens next. And then you're like, well, I would really like for you to be this guy. And I'm like, I would love it. Like, there wasn't even a question after that. After I read it, I was like, yes, let me be this guy. Because out of everyone else, he seems like, you know, you're like, imagine walking into a room full of smart people and then you're the normal one.
Yes.
That's how you feel.
Yes.
I'm like, you know what? This guy is the guy that, you know, he gets it. But he's not going to do it like everybody else is going to do it. And, like, it felt like me. And I was like, yes. Like, I connect with this dude. I would love to do that, please. And, you know, after getting down on my knees and begging you to let me be this guy, you approved it. And
whatever. I think it's more so just like, Will you do this? And you're just like, I don't know, man.
No, dude. Like seriously, this is great. And like after reading just the snippets, like I knew that I wanted to be a part of this, and I knew I wanted to play this character. And it's just a great character, and it's a great story, and like it just hooked me. It really did.
Nice. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I'm glad, because like honestly, and you know, I think I've told you this once or twice. I think I told you this when we had that big meeting. Is that you know, I based a lot of him off of you. Like so when I created the character, I was just like, okay, well, how do I want to present Andro? And I thought a lot about you as a person, because like for everyone who doesn't know Will is one of the nicest people you're ever gonna meet. He might be outspoken, you might see him say some wild, crazy stuff, but he is one of the nicest people and one of the most honorable people I know. And if you don't believe me, go read some of his statuses on Facebook. But
don't do that.
I'm like, what the fuck? No, but like seriously, like when you hear this guy talk, I was just like, that's Andro. So I remember making the character, and a lot of times when I made the character, I thought like, you know, what would Will, like I just put myself in your shoes, like what would Will do in this situation? And so that's how I came up with Andro. So, you know, hey, dude, you're a great guy, because I based one of my characters off you. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be great.
Appreciate that. You humble me, sir.
But to actually go into the next question, which this flowed perfectly, how did you approach the part of Andro? Like when you finally said, okay, I'll do it, like, and you're reading the rest of the lines, like what did you do, or how did you approach it? Tell us a little bit more about that.
So it was really weird, right? Because up until a certain point, I didn't know that you had based that character on me as a person. And so I read it, and I initially, like in the first couple of cuts of it, I tried to make Andro what I thought he was. And you know, that's also kind of telling, because, you know, like I realized with working with this character that the way I see me is not the way that other people see me.
Right, and it never is. It never is. That's anybody, bro. Because, I mean, that's like, I see myself completely different how y'all might see me sometimes, you know? Like,
right.
I totally get that.
And 100%. And so, you know, when I saw him, I was like, you know, well, you know, you gave me a little bit of backstory on him, and I was like, okay, well, this dude, you know, he's prior service. He's, you know, been in a war, you know, and now he's getting himself together. He's got a buddy, and, you know, he's working in this detective job. And, you know, at no point in time did I make the connection in all of this. Then I'm sitting over here like, okay, well,
very
prior service. You know, I've been to Afghanistan, you know, and now, you know, I'm trying to get myself together and do some new stuff. You know, man, what would a guy like that sound like? I
love it. See, that's dedication right there. It's dedication to the part. Because, I mean, that's phenomenal.
It is. And then, like, I'm trying to, like, in my head, I'm like, maybe he needs this voice. Maybe he needs to sound like this. Maybe he needs to be serious. Like, I'm going through all these different changes. And then you're like, I designed this character after you. And I was like, get out of here. And so then I was like, well, if it's me, I'm just going to do me. Like, I'm not going to try to, you know, make this character something it's not. If this was his thought and his vision for this character, then I want to give him that. And once I realized that, and once you told me that, then it just became a lot more natural for me to do it, because it was like, I don't have to put any extra thought into this. Like, I am Andro. Andro is me. We've lived the same life. So how would I feel in this? Like, what would I say? Does this hurt me? Am I confused? Like, yeah, you know, like, let me just be me and portray myself through him, because we are the same character. And it was really amazing working through that, and then coming to that conclusion. and then kind of being able to look at Andro and be like, you know what, you're a pretty cool dude. And then, after that, being able to look in the mirror and be like, you know what, man, you are a cool dude too.
That's
it.
You
know what I mean? Like,
that's it.
It was great. It was really great.
Well, that's awesome, and that whole thing brings me to it reminds me of a scene, because while you're talking, I'm thinking about the scene where you guys are talking to Edgar for like the first time, and another important aspect to me that I feel like that you played really well with Andro is being like Kato's like tether almost back to like, yo, this is the world that we're in. And you see that a lot, especially when he's talking, he talks to Edgar, and Edgar kind of takes him out of his element a little bit, and the listeners kind of see him, kind of go into his past, which is a mystery right now, and you hear Andro just like, yo, Kato, like, bro, like, come back, and I think that was a lot of cool gestures that you had doing that, like from the Kato, and then like you do that again later in the parts as well, which we can't mention, but you do it again later, and it's very funny, the whole like thing with Edgar, Kato, and Andro. You're just sitting there, and you're just like, okay, this is getting weird. All right, like why is this getting under your skin, things like that, and then on top of that, we see you kind of just dismiss Edgar when you first meet him. Like, you're just kind of like, all right, this dude's crazy. Whatever.
Right, straight up. Yeah, I would love to do this with you, but we're not going to do this right now.
Right.
Like, just
I love that because, I mean, again, that part is perfect. And I was just like, man, this is astonishing. So, and again, getting into more of the flow, this is my next question. What do you like most about the character Andro so far?
I like that he's dynamic. Like, you really don't know what you're gonna get with Andro, and all of it is contingent on what's happening around him. Like, 1 minute, Andro can be this super deep philosophical individual, and literally, 3 seconds later, he's the life of the party and, ready to have a good time with everybody. And then you blink your eyes for a second, and then the next thing you know, he's his stone face. We got to get this stuff done. Like, we don't have time for shenanigans right now. Like, we got to Charlie Mike and complete the mission. Like, nothing else matters except us getting from point A to point B. Anything else is irrelevant, and you just really don't know. He's like this super fluid character. A couple of the other characters almost feel like they're typecast and they're stuck, in their position. Mm-hmm. But Andro is, to me, that character that he's mobile and relatable. Like you said before, he's that character where the listener is going to hear him like, oh man, like, I feel like I'd be doing this right now. Andro's the guy who's going to do it. You know what's going to happen? Like, the listener gets to experience the entirety of the story through Andro, knowing that their thoughts are going to come to fruition through him, and I love that. Yes,
and that was definitely a big draw for me when creating his character and kind of telling the story, and just the way you did it was just amazing. Because again, there's so many funny parts, and we talked about it before we started the interview. That like I wish I could say we'll talk about it later, because this is not going to be the only interview. I'm going to get you again. It's just there's so, because I love the conversations when it does get philosophical between him and Kato, and like you say, it's amazing, because 1 minute he was just talking about whatever, we partying, and then now he's like, nah, but you gotta think of it from this perspective. And I definitely made that with him and you and Mom, because you have that mentality of just like, oh, I'm cool, it's fun, but then like when you need to be, you're just like, no, if you look at it from this point, this is why psychologically it's better for you to do it this way. And you're just like, is this the same fucking person? Like, what the? He's so fucking smart.
Yeah,
like, I gotta try to.
Dude just went straight 180.
Right. Hold on. Let me get the encyclopedia out. What the? So That was just that's great to me. And you feel that role perfectly.
Thank you.
Okay, next one. This is a good question right here. What was it like working with Ben, aka Kato, during the production? Because you guys had some really great chemistry. So, like, what was that like?
So that was quite possibly the thing that made this whole like thing easy. Was so Ben and I. Ben is actually the first friend I made after I got back from Afghanistan. So I've known Ben now for almost 13 years. And from the first day we met, I'm going to throw a nugget out there for some folks. Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. He's going to know exactly what I was going to say. But what I will say here, I'll do this. I was like, okay, so we were sitting in JPA 101 because we were taking Japanese because we're, and he looks me dead in the face. Now, we've been going to this class for a while. I hadn't been speaking to anybody. I was quiet, reserved. He looks me dead in the face, doesn't say hi, doesn't say anything. He says a very specific anime to me. And he put the question mark on the end of it. He's like, da-da-da. And then I smile, and I was like, da-da-da. And ever since, we broke out laughing in class. And he was like, hey, man, you want to come back to my place and watch some anime after this? I was like, yeah. And we have been, like, click tight ever since. Like, no greater bond. And so I know him. I know kind of how he thinks at this point. He knows how I think. And so as we're reading the lines, and he's doing his portions of it, like the subtleties in his voice let me know how I need to respond to it, because I know that he's saying this, but what is he feeling behind it? And then I can simply respond to that.
Oh, because there's definitely a big ping pong, like, back and forth between you guys in terms of tone. Like, when he's just like, yo, do this, do that. Like, you know how to respond to him. And even when you guys have gone off script, it's worked so well. I'm just like, yes, I'm a dumb writer. Yes, you guys do this. So I love it. Because
I know how he's going to say it. Like, the moment I read it, I'm like, this is how that character feels. This is how he's going to say it. And we're recording at 2 different times. But then you listen to the whole cut and you swear up and down we were sitting right next to each other just speaking into the same mic.
Yeah, because that's exactly what I thought you guys were doing. I was like, there's no way. I was like, they're just so in sync with each other. It's crazy. So
yeah, man, that was just time. And so working with him definitely made it a lot easier because we already had that dynamic. And we had that history individually. And so it was just easy to slip into those roles and be like, yeah, these characters are really good friends. Yeah, I can do that. I can do really good friends. And so that was what it was.
Okay, cool. And what, like, was there any, like, challenging parts that you guys was like, I just don't feel this, let's try it again? Without, because we can't go past the first episode right now. But within the first episode, which is basically goes all the way up to you guys finding out about the syndicates. Was there any challenging role you're just like, let's try that again, or let's really get into that, or let's dig into this role?
There were some parts. One part in particular that we had to do a couple times was the initial scene, actually.
Really?
When we're sitting in the office, and of course at this point, like you said, spoiler alert, but we're talking about the first, like, 3 minutes.
Right.
Where I'm clearly frustrated at the way jobs have been going, right?
Right,
and so, I'm expecting this Genitron job, and I'm just like, all right, so we got this meeting, and I know what it's like to do the monotonous stuff, and so I'm like, this sucks. Like, I get that it sucks. And he's just this happy go, like, he's like, no, man, it's gonna be fun. Like, don't worry about it. Whatever happens. And I'm like, I'm sitting here and I'm just like, all right, I cannot match that energy right now. Like, I can't do it. And so we did a lot of back and forth trying to figure out what that should look like, because clearly, I'm annoyed And, but me being annoyed by this situation, like, we went over those tones a couple different times trying to figure out, do we both need to be kind of irritated at this?
Right.
One of us, is this a joke? And so what we ended up settling on was something that actually happens with us in real life. One of us is going through some shit, and the other one's being a dick about it.
That is awesome.
And so there I was, suffering. Like, here comes another Genitron job. He's like, dude, it's fine. These people need their Genitrons. This is going to be great. And I'm just like, I swear to God, I will shoot that sign down. And he's like, God, don't worry about it. We'll just go get it. We'll go get the Android. It's fine.
So I have to say, bro, like, that's a real shock to me as the creator and writer, because, like, y'all just, that first scene was just perfect. Like, it was so beautiful. I thought y'all just sat down and said, all right, let's do this. All right, cool. You want to go to McDonald's? Like, because it was just so easily, it was so fluid. And it's,
oh, man.
It's very funny that you said, like, we had to figure out the tones. Because, I mean, like, for real, and two things. One, thank you. But two, thank y'all for, like, just being so cool about the Genitron joke. Like, that was just, like, y'all just made it seem like it's just all, everybody knows what a Genitron is. And, like, it's so funny because everyone else, like, the girl that plays, or the woman that plays Nina, my friend Calamity Red, she was like, what's a Genitron? And I had to explain it. Whereas, you guys were just like, oh, yeah, Genitrons. Okay, cool. And it was great. It was cool. So, thank you for that, because I was just like, man, they just made it seem so fluent, and now that you say that, that just goes to show, like, how awesome and dedicated you guys were to that, because, like, I mean, I really thought y'all just nailed that part in one take, and just like, all right, next thing, like.
Oh, no, that was quite a few, man, that was quite a few. We did a lot of different takes of some things. It was great. Like, even for me, like, one of the ones that I had a lot of fun with was the Edgar, when I've just come back from the deli, and Andro walks in, and Edgar and Kato are sitting there, and I'm eating my sandwich. I literally was eating pizza while I was doing that part.
So great. I was just like, this is great. I love this. Yes. Do it,
It was, just threw myself into it, man. Like, I had pizza sitting over there. So I was like, well, he's eating. I'm going to eat too. Like, I need to sound like I'm eating. So we going to have this pizza while he had a sandwich. Too easy. just went into it,
And I mean, it worked, because I was just like, yo, does he really? Like, I remember doing the parts, and I was like, does he really have, like, okay? Like, I just, the commitment to the parts was just so touching to me. I was like, hey, these dudes are really committed to it. So that's awesome, man. Okay, so the next question is, what can we expect to see from Andro in the future based on what you've seen and done on the project so far?
So, we can't really talk past episode 1.
Right, I'm sorry, I know I just tied your hands, like, ha-ha.
Right. Well, I'm gonna throw a nugget out, but I'm not gonna spoil anything.
Okay, and you can, because did you, now let me ask you this, because I know you've heard a different version from what everybody else has heard. Did you hear what episode 1 would sound like how they're going to listen to it? Have you heard that yet?
No, I have not listened to that yet.
Okay.
I listened to the other version that we were discussing.
Okay, cool. Well, never mind. But yeah, go ahead. You're fine. You're fine.
Okay, little nugget.
Okay.
So, and it kind of relates to episode 1. The scene when Edgar brings up Kato's past.
Mm-hmm.
And he kind of drifts back a little bit. And Andro's there trying to, like, tether him to the current state.
Right.
There's a conversation that happens later
mm-hmm.
where a little bit of Andro's past comes out when he's speaking about his experiences as it relates to this greater overall thing that's happening.
Right.
And as everything is progressing, like, I kind of can't help but wonder. I don't know if I expect it or not,
mm-hmm.
But I can't help but wonder if that role is going to be reversed. Something is going to happen where we kind of lose the happy-go-lucky portion of Andro because of a situation, and now he's become this more militant, straightforward kind of guy with, who's always on edge. And so, that's kind of a scary thing for the role, and for the character, because I've experienced that myself.
Right.
And, it's a pretty dark place. You're really unapproachable, and, people kind of look at you different, after that happens. And it's not something that I think Andro and Kato in their dynamic have experienced together. Because this was really the first time Andro had ever seen Kato really slip into his past.
Right. Right.
And so it starts to beg that question, well, if Andro was able to help Kato stay grounded, would Kato be able to help Andro stay grounded? Or, is he going to slip through the cracks? And so it kind of like I'm not sure, but, you can't help but wonder how that dynamic is going to change. Because we don't know a whole lot about either of their history. But as we're starting to see these breadcrumbs fall throughout the story, it seems like there's a lot of history between both of them. It makes you wonder, why is Andro so happy and go lucky all the time? What is he trying to cover up for? And also saying, Kato's an extremely relaxed individual. But we saw him get stressed. And when he got stressed, he was kind of out of it for a second. What is that going to look like in the future? Is this a one and done? Or does this rabbit hole get deeper? And what does it look like at the bottom of that? They both have stuff going on that makes it seem like there's a lot more to these characters than we can pick up in season 1. And we sure can't grasp any of this with just episode 1. But there's a lot of depth to a lot of the characters where you're questioning, I see what's on the surface, but there's a whole lot more going on, and I need to figure out what so that everything else makes sense.
Now, and guys, Will is definitely knocking on a lot of cool things, knocking on that door hard, man, and I can't say anything, but you definitely are alluding to a lot of things that do plan on happening. Especially if we can get, season 2, especially if we can get to even season 3, because there at one point, I will have to talk about Andro's origins, Kato's origins, and just some other things is happening. And another main character we can't mention right now, but there's a lot, and there's definitely a lot to unpack with his character. So I can't wait to see how you play him in terms of how he unpacks that, because there will be as we work more together in the future, you'll see there's a lot more to unpack here. All right, let me and you put your magic spin on it, it's gonna be dope. But you definitely hit the nail on the head a lot there, because there's a lot of dynamics that's gonna change up, and it'll be interesting to see how the characters react to it and how the listeners react to it, because that's definitely going to be what? What just happened?
10 out of 10, they're going to feel the same way we do. All of us going to sit there with the back of our heads blown out.
What? So that's a good question, especially the whole, we see Andro keep Kato grounded, but can Kato do the same thing with Andro? And there will be times that do test that, if it's not in this particular season, in the future seasons, there'll definitely be some stuff that just did that just happen? What in the world?
Yeah.
Those are some good speculations there, buddy. Because
thank you.
That was good. I was see, that's why I fucks with you. You with the brand. I see you, sir. I see you. So my next question is, and this is funny because coming off that, to something a little bit more crazier. What is your favorite scene in episode 1?
my favorite scene in episode 1.
Yeah.
My favorite scene in episode 1 has got to be the well, it's one scene, but it's two parts that make it my favorite.
Okay.
And Andro goes to the diner to get his sandwiches. This is the first time he bumps into Edgar.
Yes.
And but he's talking to the waitress, and you know, Andro's character, he's kind of a playboy a little bit.
Yes.
Like, he talks to everybody.
Yes.
You know. But the waitress.
Yes.
The waitress is like, you know, and you feel like it's a joke, but you really can't tell. And like Andro is like, hey baby, yeah, you know, how's your sister doing? You know? And then you get over to the diner and it's like, well, you know, I only have eyes for you, and it's like, sorry baby, this ain't it.
Yeah.
Just hard shut that down, right?
Yeah, he's like, you know what it is, you know, like, it's just like, wow.
No, we're not doing this. We're not doing this. but the conversation with Edgar, like those two in that one scene, definitely my favorite parts, because that's that first time we get a glimpse into, you know, the other side of Andro's thought process. Like, we get to see that he's not just this, you know, silly guy who jokes around, but there's actually some depth to that character, because, you know, you have Edgar over here, you know, speaking of the complexities of man. Mm-hmm. And then you have Andro there with a solid response and the willingness to have this conversation, but you can tell that even though he dismisses Edgar, it's not that he doesn't want to have the conversation. It's just that we just met and I don't want to offend you. And so we're going to have to postpone this for later. But if, you know, you keep showing up here, then, you know, maybe we'll get comfortable enough to have more in-depth conversations.
Absolutely.
And that was a complete, you know, different mindset from the guy that we just perceived as the lazy dude who doesn't want to go looking for another Genetron.
Right. that conversation with Nina was very hilarious at the beginning, where you're just like, ugh, Nina, really? You know, and
like another one,
really? Word? Like, but you're right. Like, I think that was one of my favorite scenes too, because it was from like beginning to end, just kind of the whole world of Andro. Because, you know, at the beginning you come in like, bro, you're never gonna believe who I met in the diner, and then like you're sitting there in front of the dude, and Kato's just like, yo, bro, like Clyde's right here. He's like, fuck.
It's like, damn.
Hi, Edgar. Yeah. Hey. It's like, but yeah, that's awesome, dude. And then, you know, my final question is, do you have any questions for me as the creator and writer of the project?
Okay. I do have a question for you. It's kind of a selfish question.
That's okay. Go for it.
All right. So without you know, throwing too much in the wind, you know, we know that the Kato is the one that the ladies all like. Andro gonna get him a girl? Is my boy gonna be here forever solo?
Man, all I'm gonna say, buddy, is yeah, wait to season 2. I got you. I got you.
I guess me and the listeners, we just gonna be sitting over here like, we just pray for our boy.
No, it's there's a lot of integral parts there. Yeah, you'll see. Because like I got plans for it, because I thought about that as well, because of the nature of Andro and how he is. I've definitely got something that's gonna make him kind of just like, okay, well, because at first he's not taking it kind of seriously, and then something happens. It's just like, all right, cool, like maybe this is it, you know. And
right.
There's even gonna be a time where he kind of talks to Kato about it. Because it's gonna intersect with the main mission. It's just gonna be, oh shit! Like it's gonna be one of those ones. Just like, I mean, like, what do we do here? And I think this is either gonna be one of the first kind of turning points or first major decisions that Andro and Kato makes in terms of like Andro's relationship and their relationship. And and if not first, it's definitely like a first or second. So yeah, that's yeah, I definitely have plans for it. I'm not just gonna leave my boy Andro out in the wind as this like terrible playboy that goes from one girl to the other.
I think everybody wants him to settle down at some point, to some extent. You know, just because my biggest fear for him, honestly, is that I think that I don't want him to come off as like this cringy dude that's always just chasing. You know, like like. I want him to be serious about something for a second. You know what I'm saying? But at the same time, if he a dog, let him be a dog. But
go from DMX to Cisco. You know what I'm saying? No, just I really won't from it. No, it's there's something that's gonna happen that I think you'll like as a voice actor playing the character. That happens between him and another character is just like, okay, cool. Like, I get it, so. Yeah. Like,
okay.
I got plans for it. Like, you guys can't see it now, but I got plans for it. I got plans. Because there's going to be some killer stuff. I don't want to give away, too much of this, how the sausage is made.
Don't do it to him.
But what I'm saying, it's coming. And when people see it, they're going to be like, oh, shit, like, this is real. Like, all right, we doing this. So, it's
great. It is. Hey, I'm about it.
That's it. That's awesome.
Oh man.
Were there any other questions for me, sir?
How much have you enjoyed writing this, and how does it feel to see your baby come to life?
Man, like it's weird, bro. Like I thoroughly. So of course, anyone who knows me knows that I write too damn much and do too damn much. But it's
facts.
I'm
just messing with you.
Thank you. No, but no, for real. It's true. I do way too much, but it's cool. I'm more so just honored and impressed that everybody actually took this seriously, and everybody who could. Like there were a lot of people I wanted on the project, but due to time constraints and life, and none of you guys got paid. Unfortunately, this was about the experience, so I totally get it. But just to see y'all just come together and do this and just like bring it to life, like the shit is just like earth shattering to my heart because it's just so. It's like damn, because it goes from being on the paper to like late at night writing. You know what I'm saying? You guys know because remember when I first gave y'all the scripts. Remember what happened? I gave y'all the scripts and none of the pages had numbers on them. And I was just like, oh my God, none. And so.
So we were sitting there reading, and it was like, okay, we read, flip to the next page, and it's like a whole different scene. It's like, wait a minute.
So, funny story for all the listeners out there who's listening. I don't know why, but when I finished writing the script, right, I was like, all right, cool, it's done. And I literally printed out pages, gave it to everyone, and this really makes me just like, man, I am so dumb sometimes. It didn't happen until, and Will remembers this, until the first meeting. We're all there, and it's like you, Ben, Mara, two of my other friends. We're all sitting there, and y'all just like, so, listen, Cliff, hey, do we have to number our own pages, or was there a reason why you didn't number them? And I was just like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, because anybody, got a little bit of hiccups. Anybody who knows me knows that I stay up late at night, like writing. Like that's all I do. And so a lot of times when insomniac writing or just late night writing, like you might be thinking about complex shit, but you leave out all the simple shit. And there go all the grammatical problems, all the page number problems. And so, like, literally, like, I didn't catch it until everybody just sat down. And it was so sweet how y'all did it, because y'all just really came to me like an intervention, just like, yeah, so there's no numbers here, Cliff. And, like, I was like, fuck. Like, I'm sorry, And so I remember reprinting out the pages and like, and from then on, giving it to everyone else. Was like, here you go, here's the ones with numbers, It's like now y'all can say like, if it makes it big or whatever. Now y'all can be like, yeah, you weren't with us when we didn't have numbers on the page, so we just had words. You weren't with us. Where you at? You weren't with us. You weren't with us in the struggle.
Good donuts and no page numbers.
No page numbers. That's it, baby. Listen, That's the name of the documentary if this makes it. Good donuts, no page numbers. That's it.
That's it. That is it, man.
But yeah, man, it feels great. Like, you guys definitely... But yeah, bro, that's going to be the name of the documentary. Good donuts and pages. If it makes it, mark my words, I'm going to do that, and you're going to curate the whole documentary. Like, just the guy that came up with the title. Good donuts, no pages.
You know I got you.
But no, I do, man. I really appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart, like, doing this, because, like, I mean, that's the real joy. It's just, like, seeing y'all, like, produce this work, and it's just like, yo, like, this is amazing. And it was so seamless at times. It wasn't even like, oh, I gotta force this, or, like, I mean, everybody's parts was just kind of seamless, and I was just like, yo, like, I'm really happy to have such good friends that are this talented, you know, so.
But you know what, man? That is 100% you, dude. Like, you wrote an amazing story. You gave beautiful directions, and you made it easy.
I did sometimes. Sometimes I was like,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and I appreciate that, man. Sometimes, like, y'all pretty much took, because I was just like, I guess just play it the way you want. I mean, because, like, y'all were just so, and that's another thing, like, thank you for being so respectful to the source, because y'all weren't just like, oh, we gonna do it this way. Y'all actually, like, hey, man, so we're sitting here, this doesn't sound right. Can we do it this way, or do we have to stick to this? And I'm like, yo, you can do whatever you want, please. Like, use that talent, you know, because y'all, I trusted y'all, and I mean, my trust was not misplaced at all. Like, you just made it better. So,
like I said, man, you had a beautiful roadmap for us, and like I said, it is a testament to your storytelling, and your writing, and your ability as a writer. Like, I don't think that anybody else could have put together a story like you did, and I don't think that anybody has heard a story like you're telling.
Thank you.
I think that this is great.
Thank you. Well, hopefully we'll get more of it, and we'll definitely get more seasons, because I have a lot that I would like to do. I am, one of my plans, and I'll go ahead and kind of put that out there too, is I do plan on writing books, kind of like side stories.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
For a lot of the characters, especially like with the main three, which is like Kato, Andro, and then the other person we hadn't announced yet.
We haven't met that one yet.
Yeah, we haven't met that one yet. But like, I definitely want to kind of do more about them, because the core of that story is them. So I definitely want to put more into it. And then, just put more into these episodes, because, I mean, y'all just, like, killed it. So, thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Well, Mr. Will, I know you got other things to do, man. So I'm going to let you go and stop holding you up. And just thank you so much for being on the show. Is there anything you would like to say before you go, sir, before you leave Virtuous Talks?
Listeners, thank you. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your feedback, and thank you for listening. And again, Cliff, thank you for writing this wonderful story, and I cannot wait to see what happens next. And I'm just looking forward to it. I'm just looking forward to the next season, looking forward to, every episode that comes after. And I'm excited, and again, super appreciative that you chose me to be a part of this. So thank you.
Brother, thank you for just being on it, man. You honor me by being on the project and putting all that awesome into Andro and being the archetype structure for him, because I couldn't have made that character without you. So thank you, man. I appreciate it.
Anytime, brother. Anytime.
Thank you. Well, guys, listen, you can go if you haven't listened to the first episode by now. Sorry, but that's not our fault. We told you. We told you at the beginning. Spoiler alert. But anyway, now please continue to listen. Thank you so much for listening. You can check us out every Thursday. That's when the episode is going to drop. The first episode drops as of right now, Thursday. Hopefully, when you're hearing this, it should be up by midnight on Thursday. So, you guys take a listen. Let us know what you think. Also, too, and this is something I was going to discuss with all of y'all, but I kind of, like, when I do the Patreon, I kind of want to do a thing where, like, the listeners kind of have, like, questions for the main characters. would you be okay answering questions, Mr. Andro, aka Will?
Yeah,
from the
definitely,
listeners?
definitely.
Okay.
I would not mind answering questions at all. And you know what? I would love feedback. You know, if the people listening to these episodes say, you know what, this is what I imagine, or tell me how you feel about the character, and tell us, as a collective. And I think that, speaking on behalf of all those involved, let us know how you feel about our characters, so that we can refine them and make them better, make them more enjoyable to listen to, make it sound more natural, and something that can help us make it feel like you're in the room with us.
Absolutely.
Anything that can help us be better, we would love to hear from you, and we will definitely look at implementing it and providing the best quality content that we can.
That's awesome. Absolutely. Well, guys, that's it for us. Thank you for listening to Virtuous Talks. I'm Clifton Smith, aka Rockman3K3, and this has been
I am Will Andro.
And guys, thank you so much for listening to us. It's been Virtual Talks. Check out Virtuous Armaments. Check us out for episode 2 next week. See you later.
Take it easy, guys.